Hello everyone. You're about to hear a synopsis of the film Hard Target 2. Enjoy! We see two Burmans fleeing a motorcycle gang. One of them is finished off with a bow by a European. The survivor continues to run as fast as he can. The boy runs into an abandoned warehouse, but even there he can't escape his pursuers. The prey is wounded in the arm. The poor guy climbed higher and immediately fell back down when the hunters catch him again. We flash back 8 months. A mixed martial arts tournament is taking place in Las Vegas. The opponents are fired up, so the fight gets going right away. After a powerful kick, Baylor, nicknamed Teremshik, almost loses his head. The bell saves him from defeat. The fighter comes to his senses and, enraged, begins to work on his opponent like a punching bag. The referee makes no move to stop the beating. Baylor also got into the swing of things. He finished the fight with a spectacular spin and dispatched the blonde. The joy of victory quickly gave way to sadness as the new champion had just finished off his best friend. 6 months later, we see Baylor sleeping in Bangkok with a group of pigeons. Out of grief, he drinks heavily and periodically participates in underground no-holds-barred fights. Usually, Baylor gives in at first, but then easily dispatches another big guy. Then he drops pills and washes them down with whiskey. That's how the American fighter's Thai vacation went until he caught the eye of wealthy John Aldrich. By defeating a local fighter, Baylor earned $3,000. Aldrich gave him a bonus and declared that he wanted to give the pro another chance. The champion could earn $500,000 for just one fight. Maiden, Aldrich's right-hand man, handed the man a business card. He has time to think things over. Aldrich didn't have to wait long. This weird guy is cutting up fish right in his office. I want $1 million. Helicopter came for Baylor and delivered him to Myanmar along with Rich Man. The local general also got his share. He'll make sure no one interrupts the millionaires' fun. Aldrich introduced Baylor to the other guests. The first to approach him was the famous Spanish matador Esparto. There's also the Zimlings, father and son from Texas.
Holy is Baylor,
the executioner himself. Baylor used to be nicknamed the jailer, but after killing his friend, it changed to executioner. Sophia, the heiress of a major oil tycoon, approached Toast.
Sorry, ma'am, you're not my type.
Sit in.
Landon Marshall is a famous game developer. All in all, a motley crew. These are Baylor's rivals. The ring is a jungle. Aldrich tossed the fighter $1 million worth of rubies. He could use them if he crossed the border into Thailand. Each hunter was offered a choice of weapon. They all chose crossbows. 2 locals were thrown out of the truck to show Baylor what awaited him. 1 target was shot on the spot. Aldrich and his right-hand man, May, also participated. Baylor received a 2-minute head start, so he'd better not argue and hurry to hide in the jungle. Baylor himself received only a small bottle, which he could refill when he reached the Zostoa stream. When the prey fled into the forest, the last hunter, Lord Maduka, appeared. All the rich men had their phones confiscated. Filming the hunt is strictly prohibited. Baylor must travel 60 kilometers to reach the border. Maduka was the only one to realize that the American had turned back and separated from the main group. Baylor reached the waterfall and saw the second poor fellow dead there. Maduka nearly hit him himself. Unlike the others, he was armed with a rifle with a scope, but it wasn't doing much for Moseley. Baylor hid underwater, waited for the hunter to get closer, and then attacked. He begged for mercy and treacherously struck Baylor with a stun gun. Maduka closed the distance, naively relying on his knife. The champion hit him with all his might, and the man, falling, shattered the stone of his skull.
This your first time hunting a dunce.
I doubt it.
Game designer still managing to bring a camera with him and hide it securely. Junior Zimling puked. He doesn't enjoy this kind of fun. Soon, Baylor was discovered. All the hunters stood at the edge of the waterfall and began aiming their crossbows at him, but the bolts were still flying past him. Jacob Zimling got fed up and pulled out 2 pistols. They were also of no use. Then the man used a grenade launcher. While running, Baylor fell down a hill. hit a few rocks and landed softly on an elephant carcass, Shavihana. There was a whole herd hanging out there. One of the elephants slapped Baylor in the back of the head.
He hit first.
You fell on them and scared them? I saw everything.
A girl named Ta is watching over the elephants. Her brother was also hunted. Now she doesn't know where he is. When the hunters got tired of trudging through the forest on foot, Aldrich brought motorcycles to his clients. She agreed to escort Baylor to the border. It turns out, local boys are constantly being hunted. The cunning Aldrich is watching them with drones. Escaping from the villain won't be easy. Baylor asked his companion to leave. It was dangerous to be near him. 3 motorcyclists immediately blocked their way. Baylor attacked 2 of them with his legs in a jump. Well, he stole the motorcycle and rode towards the border. Sophia sat on his tail and began spraying him with grenade launchers attached to her motorcycle. Prey and Hunter faced each other. First, Baylor caught the girl in a net, then fired a salvo of grenade launchers at her. Sophia didn't even blink and sent Baylor fleeing her pocket a crossbow. The elephant's friend was also being hunted. A family of Zimlings sat on her tail. She attacked first, but couldn't defeat her father. The man began to brutally beat her, even taking off his pants. The son was stunned by this sight and hurried away. The woman took advantage of this. She fought back and hacked her father to death with a vice. Meanwhile, Sophia challenged the MMA champion to hand-to-hand combat. He quickly beat her and rode off on his motorcycle. The fighter knocked out the youngest Zimling and hurried to hide in the thicket together. Aldrich made the boy kneel next to his father's body.
Maybe we should go back, but
He wanted to see his mother.
2 Bells must avenge his father and then he'll be a man in no time. She led the Americans to the abandoned village and treated his wound. The general had driven all the inhabitants off their land, so Aldrich could stage his games there. Maiden used a GPS to find the quarry and showed the hunters whoso. Meanwhile, she accidentally led Baylor into a minefield. The hunters stopped nearby. The fighter fired his bow and missed. In response, the Spaniard threw a spear at Baylor, hitting a mine. Aldrich ordered everyone to stand still and fired their rifles at the quarry, but the foolish Tobiah ran into the minefield for some reason, and when Baylor wounded him in the shoulder, he dropped his rifle right on the mine. The boy went to his degenerate father, and Baylor fled into the forest. They went into a cave to rest a bit, and what luck! The cat's wounded brother, the sweaty guy from the beginning of the film, was resting there. Because the prey hid in the cave, Matan lost the signal, and now can't track them. Baylor is tired. He doesn't want to part with the girl once they cross the border. Aldrich is a former CIA agent who has a great business idea. Rich people, mostly hunt partisans, captured by the general. They were going to be executed anyway, so why not have some fun beforehand? That night, Baylor had a nightmare. He told her about killing his best friend for a title. And when he woke up again, neither the girl nor her brother were there. They stole his rubies and fled. The relatives were immediately caught and tied up. Vin lied about killing Baylor while he was sleeping, but Aldrich didn't believe him. The brother and sister were being massaged with a shovel. The whole thing was being filmed by game designer Marshall. Baylor grabbed him. Aldrich was about to chop off the Burman's head with a shovel when Baylor revealed himself as a hostage intending to exchange the Marshal for the locals.
do it. No, you'll kill Marshall.
So what?
Be bad for business if the organizers start killing their own clients. Baylor got his rubies back. He ordered the Burmans to hide in the woods. They complied. But Sophia was waiting for them at the abandoned train. She threw her brother down the hill to keep him quiet and climbed up the train car to the hunter. The 2 women began to fight. At one point, Sophia jumped on her stomach, breaking the rich woman in half. Meanwhile, Bella dragged the marshal to the other hunters. He needed to escape somehow. After a brief scuffle, they found themselves face to face with Matt and Nuhan. A couple more clever moves, and Bailey Miller managed to jump into the river without sustaining a single injury. All 3 runaways met at a log in the middle of the river and floated downstream on it. Baylor removed the memory card from the camera and saved it as evidence of the crime. She apologized for stealing the rubies. She was going to pay the general to allow the villagers to return to their village. Matten fished the camera out of the river. Aldrich immediately guessed who it belonged to, so he executed the marshal by slitting his throat. In the end, only the Spaniard remained of all the hunters. He learned that the organizers had been using a GPS navigator all this time to track their prey. This is not serious. They have no honor. Well, there's no point in talking about honor now since Baylor has recording of their faces, so they'll have to call in a cleanup team. At the military camp, Trinity was forced to abandon the log and climb ashore. Aldrich arrived just then. Baylor wondered how he always found them. Finally, he figured it out, and after rummaging around, found a GPS tracker in the bag with the rubies. Baylor decided to donate the rubies to those in need, and ran toward the military base with the tracker in his pants. He punctured a fuel barrel and strangled a guard. Baylor boarded a boat and fired a flare gun at the barrel's icicles. There was a deafening explosion. Baylor was now being hunted by an entire army. Meanwhile, the Spaniard tracked the Asians and began taunting the Vin with a rag, pretending he'd been fooled and wounded in the back. Teodor was about to finish off the Vin, but his sister attacked him from behind. The Spaniard was distracted by the girl and was knocked unconscious. An attempt to climb onto the boat was unsuccessful.
I'm not a boat. Bastard.
Meanwhile, Baylor had almost reached the Thai border. A helicopter was firing at him with machine guns and grenades. Baylor dodged the bullets for a long time, then drove onto dry land. The Wayaks simply ran toward the American instead of shooting at him. Having easily dispatched them, Baylor climbed onto the bridge. Aldrich and his assistant landed on the other side.
Baylor, you're on the wrong side. Tough luck.
Aldrich picked off a random Thai and shot him with a single-shot Thompson pistol or telepistol. A child could have been next mulist. Then Baylor emerged from his hiding place with the pigeons. He approached Aldrich and announced that he was hiding a memory card up his ass. Maiden doesn't appreciate such jokes. The millionaire was brought a cold beer because he was going to see the show. 5 fighters attacked the champion simultaneously, but even after a grueling run through the jungle, the American dispatched them all without breaking a sweat. Maiden grinned and waited his turn. What can he say? He was a real punching bag. Bald idiot couldn't land a single blow. Baylor used him as a shield. Aldrich shot his assistant, but couldn't fire a second time, so he absorbed the champion's blows with his face. Baylor loaded his pistol and gave the millionaire a 2-minute head start. However, Aldrich isn't about to run away because he has an entire army on his side. The rich man ordered the soldiers to kill the jerk, but then she ran up with the rubies and gave them to the general, so he won't kill Baylor. Aldrich snatched his pistol, but was immediately shot by the Burmans. The Baylor stood opposite, but not a single bullet hit them. The villagers will now be allowed to return to their hovel. It also turned out that she had only given the general half of the rubies. She returned the rest to Baylor. The man bought a house for his friend's widow, and she immediately forgave him for killing her husband. Bola himself remained in Thailand to teach martial arts to children. So,